Okay, welcome, Shabbat Shalom. It's so thrilling to be back in our building. We have it for a reason. It's good to be here. So I just want to say thank you everyone for being here and coming along. And for those of you online, welcome as well. Appreciate you watching in. Sorry about last week. It's hard to run Shabbat services and to balance technology at the same time. Something that we struggle with, I feel like, every other day. So we'll continue to try and make sure that we're live streaming as much as we can, but once in a while, we just, technology gets in the way. So, all right, anyways, we're gonna get started, and I'm gonna ask Jan Carolyn to light the Shabbat candles, which I believe you can find on page 120 of your prayer book. Go for it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvoto v'tzivanu lahadlik nesher Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jan Carolyn. Now I'm going to invite the Mitra brothers up here for our music accompaniment. Okay, so if I remember correctly, last time we had to deal with the fact that it's hard to hear y'all, right? And everyone kept hearing me except you're not hearing me, which is just horrible, right? Because the whole goal is that we hear your voices. So I'm gonna ask that you step in when you're singing your music, and then we'll kind of switch places, okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right, so we're at Hine Matov, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, 128 of your prayer books.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Then we go over to Lachado D on page 130, is that right? Yes. Okay, Lachado D on 138.
לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורק וביורי, אורי אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך ניכר. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Please stand and face the entrance.
בואי לשלום, עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ותולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לי כלכלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי כלכלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי כלכלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לי כלכלה,
Thank you. You may be seated. I think now we're moving on to Shalom Aleichem on page 142, so you continue to be up.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boakim leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Maruni leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidkim leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Okay, let's see what's next. Right, Classic Kosh on page 144. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba be'elma divrach yotev yamlik machutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uchayedechol beit Yisrael bagala uvizman karif v'imaru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivarach Le'alam Ulam Me'almaya Yitbarach V'yishabak V'yipar V'yipramam V'yitnasem V'yitadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shemei Kudusha Barichu Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damin bilma v'yamru amen. We're going to continue with the Baruch Hu on page 146, and when you arrive there, I invite you to stand with us.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach
to Ma'ariv Aravim on page 148.
Umavir yom, umevir laila. Umavir ben yom uben laila. Adonai tzva'ot shemo, elcha v'kayam tamidim lo. Aleinu le'olam vayeh. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. Umavir yom, umevir laila. Umavir ben yom uben laila. Adonai tzva'ot shemo, elcha v'kayam tamidim lo. Aleinu le'olam vayeh. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. Ya la la la, 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 ya la la la. Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, la 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 la.
Thank you, fellas. We're now going to turn to page 151, and I would love for us to all read the top of that page together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone, and help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. For the Shema, we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to recite the Shema together as a community, of course, and then we're going to recite the Baruch Shem to ourselves, and then we're going to sit for a moment of silent reflection before we move into the Via Havta. Here we go. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malachuto Leolam Vayed. One, 5, 4. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meyodecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinartam levarnecha b'divarta ba'am b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'techa ha'vaderech u'shafbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam le'yot al yadecha v'hayu l'tutafot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tiskiru v'asitem echol mitzvotai v'tem kiroshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzetechem meretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. Let's read together on top of page 157 in the English. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, and that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Micha Mocha on page 158.
Ya la 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 la.
No worries. Okay.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. La 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi camoga, Mari Madonna. Mi camoga, Yeda Babode. No radilo, no se pele. No radilo, no se pele. Ya la 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 la. 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 La 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 la.
I want you guys to stick around for Vashamru on page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובין, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Thanks, fellas. We now move to the Amidah, which you can find on page 164. When you arrive there, I invite you to stand with us. Adonai sefartai tiftach u'viyahid tehilatecha. Adonai sefartai tiftach u'viyahid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanorah, El Elyon. Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Kasdeya V'chinahot, V'mevidu Lam V'nehem, V'man Shemo V'yahava, Melech Ozer Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Ezra Sarah. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai, V'chayecha Kol Atara Yoshia, Mashiach HaRuach Marich HaGashem, Mechayer Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayecha Kol V'Rachamim Rabim, Somek Noflim V'Rokei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Milchamo Chaval Gevurot, Umidom Elad, Melech Levi, Umechayem, Umatzliach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, v'chayei hakol. We will now continue silently until page 180. You may be seated whenever you like.
Oh, say shalom bimroma. Huya say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Israel. Vimru, vimru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel, vimru, vimru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
And now for some words of Torah. So before my son was even born, we bought him this book called The Most Magnificent Thing. In this book, a young girl she's an inventor, trying to invent something new. Her journey is more than just a journey of inventing a new and useful object. She also goes on a deeply emotional journey as she overcomes setback after setback. One of my favorite parts in this book is this line where she hurts her finger, and with a crunch, the pain goes to her head and she explodes. And we always say explode very loudly when we read this book together. And then my son always says she's so upset. After her explosion, though, she calms down and is able to build her most magnificent thing from a renewed perspective. What I love most about this story is the author shows how making something new is often an internal emotional journey, just as much as it's a physical and mechanical journey. In this week's Torah portion, Ki Tisa, we have one of the most emotional journeys in the entire Bible, where the Israelites decide to worship a golden calf. In this portion, we see both the travesty and humanity of emotions. And before I go into this story, I want to tell you about the rabbit hole I fell into when I was researching emotions. I had this question: where do our emotions come from? Little did I know that the world of psychology and neurology are not at all in agreement of where our emotions come from. There is, in fact, a newer way to perceive emotions, which I will get into later. I believe that most of us are taught was that emotions are built into our brain at birth. Emotions are aligned with our survival instincts and are an automatic reaction or reflex to our environment. We can choose how we respond to our emotions, but we can't always choose the emotions that we feel. I also used to believe that emotions were ubiquitous. We all smile when we are happy and cry when we are sad. Emotions are like a universal language. But here is the problem. Not all emotions are universal. And there is at least one culture around the world that does not have an emotion that we assume is ubiquitous. In fact, many cultures have emotions that our culture does not even have a name for. So scientists have taken this problem and developed a whole new understanding of emotions. What if emotions are not a reaction to our world? What if emotions actually construct our world? Our brain manages systems all day long, every day, in order for us to survive. This is a very passive process. We don't control how often our heart beats or our blood pressure. Our brain does it for us automatically. So our brains have this tool that scientists call interoception, the feeling of sensations of movements that come from the body, like an internal eye. I'll try to say it again. If our eyes survey our world, the interoception surveys our body. And just like our eyes have a limited number of rods and cones that translate colors, our interoceptors translate just 4 sensations, and they are pleasantness, unpleasantness, excitement, and calmness. Once again, just like many colors can be derived from just primary colors, all of our emotions, according to this theory, are derived from these 4 sensations. And whatever sensation you have in your body, your brain attempts to interpret it. For example, why is your interoception having a pleasantness feedback? Is it because you're in a hot tub? Or because you're having a really satisfying meal? Your brain takes those 2 different concepts and files them away. So while a satisfying meal feels way different than a hot tub to you, your interoceptors experience it as the same thing, pleasantness. And your brain adds context of where and when you felt it. So this kind of blew my mind. This means emotions are not happening to me. It's my brain feverishly trying to figure out where and when I'm feeling a sensation. For example, my heart rate goes up and my interoceptors are experiencing excitement and unpleasantness in my body. My brain takes that information and tries to add context. It must be because of the patch of ice I just slid across in my car. Then my brain files that away for later use. Icy patch means these two things, unpleasantness and excitement. My brain and my body shape my worldview. And that little girl is not just building a magnificent thing. She's building a pathway of sensations for her to create something new. The magnificent thing is not just an invention of an object. It's a journey that ends with her interoceptors surveying pleasantness and excitement for the girl. So let's use these new tools to understand this week's Torah portion. Moses is up at Mount Sinai when the Israelites are demanding to Aaron that they give them a god to worship. So Aaron instructs the Israelites to give him their gold earrings, which he melts and furnishes into a golden calf. And the Israelites proceed to worship the said golden calf. Well, God notices this and is instantly enraged and tells Moses that he is going to wipe them all out. Moses is able to calm God down and help God back away from such a permanent decision. With our new tool, interoception, I would like to posit a new theory. What if this isn't Moses and God talking? What if Moses is talking to himself? God is Moses' interoceptors, telling Moses he is feeling excited and unpleasant. Moses taking stock of his feelings and calming himself down. If emotions construct our world, then perhaps God created emotions when God created the universe. Here in this moment of rage, we see one of God's creations in Moses. While he is calm for a while, he's upset all over again when he comes down from the mountain and gets a front row seat to this idol worship. Boom, it's excitement and unpleasantness. This time, there is no eternal dialogue between Moses and God. Moses sees the idol worship and the anger goes into his head and he explodes and breaks the 10 Commandments. And I love this comparison because in this moment, God is absent. Without an eternal dialogue, Moses lets his anger control him. So this new tool, I want to present to you a new theology. What if God isn't just immanent or transcendent? What if God is our interoception, allowing us to perceive 4 simple sensations and helping us with understanding them and managing them? God, the creator of the universe, is the creator of our feelings. What if every time we see God in the Bible, we're actually seeing characters exploring their own emotions? Which means Moses climbs all the way up Mount Sinai only to talk to himself. However, Moses needed that climb in order to be in the mind space to have his internal dialogue with God. And just like the little girl from the most magnificent thing needed to explode before she was ready to invent something new. In this way, every time we explore our feelings, we're also having a conversation with God. And this is important because as Moses showed us, if we don't have this conversation, we let our emotions control us. But if we do have this conversation, then we are able to manage our emotions. Thus, talking the act of calming down, exploring our emotions is conversing with God and trying to become a better person. Thank you. We're now going to move on to our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. Before we do, we have these community members who are in need of healing. Tina Mink, Chris Converse, Jennifer Eskridge, Ian Clift, David Tobias, Kitty Flagel, Lindsay Raber, Micah Purdy, Cheryl Lambriani, Laura Allen, Susan Super, Mary Jo Robinson, Melba Cook, Emmy Webb, Stephen Lamp, Russell Crass, Bill Ross, Alan Friedman, Russ Nog, Ross Rumack, Norma Haas, Ray Ellis, Judy Cantor, Kayla Ribbon, Diane Kaplan, Craig Paulus, Philip Coffin, Nicole Neeson, Joan Anderson, Louis Mayer, and Lillian Mayer. If there's anyone else that you are thinking of who is in need of healing, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts. We now continue to page 371 for the Misha Berach.
Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with the Ruach Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We now move to the Eleni, which you can find on page 587 of your prayer books. When you arrive there, I invite you to stand and join us. Eleni l'shabech l'adon ha'kol, v'atei k'dugla le'yotzer b'reishi, shehu samchem k'nei le'tek shemo, v'goralenu l'hamlik malchuto, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue on page 591. We gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. And may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with joy, of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo We now move to the mourner's kosh, which you can find on page 598 of your prayer books. And in our own community, we're thinking about these yard sites this week. Stanley Brust, Mildred Ellis, Hattie Falkowitz, Jean Geckler, Max Gruenberg, Dorla Klevinsky, and Marcella Rumack. If there's someone who you are thinking of, please feel free to say their names out loud or in your hearts. Zikunom livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Yit gadal v'yit gadash shemei rabba, be'alma divrach yote v'yamlik machute, v'chayechon uvyamechon, uv'chayedachol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehesh me rabba mevarak le'olam ulome almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'tadar v'tale v'talal shemeru kudasha b'rechu. Le'ela kol birchata v'shirata Tushbichata v'necha mata, da'amiran ve'elmam v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rava min shemaya, v'chayim aleni v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleni v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru. One who creates harmony on high. One, we start at 9 over our Zoom room. That's going to be about Passover. And then we have our usual text study, which is at 10:30 on our Zoom room. And then tomorrow we are having it's our third Saturday. So it's our mobile food bank volunteer day. So that will be at 12:30 at the Fairview Rec Center. And we're friends with the Greater Baptist Friends Group. So it's a good combination of Jews and Baptists hanging out and helping the needy with passing out food. So it's a good time. I encourage you to join us for that. 12:30 at the Fairview Rec Center. Great. And then religious school is going to happen over Zoom at 9:30 for Hebrew, 10 for classes. And then morning minyan Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Over our Zoom room. And then I'm supposed to give an announcement. So Moshe, remind me what this one's about. It's
I just want to make sure everyone received their invoice.
right. Invoices went out. If there is an error in any way, please get a hold of us as fast as you can. We'll be happy to help. So there's that one. Great. Anything else? I'm forgetting anything else? Did I get it all? Morning minion? I did that one. I did, yeah. Yeah, morning minion at 8. Huh? What about the doors? Yeah, we're still working on that one. I will officially announce that soon.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We're excited about it. We don't want to, jinx it or anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Any other things? I think I got it all. Awesome. All right. Closing melody. You knew this was coming. Adon Olam. Okay. Okay. Adon Olam. What page is that on? 625. Adon Olam. Well, you can take it over.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra v'nitnasa v'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra v'nitnasa v'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra.
Well, thank you, Mitra Brothers. We always appreciate it when you help us out. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for coming. So good to see people's faces in person. Shabbat Shalom. Take care. Have a great night. And careful driving out there. It's so slushy. Jeez. Live feed. Roll it. What's the no?